Good morning, everyone. My name is Carleigh McFarlane.
And I'm Gustavo Ghavami, and we're here to present the Variable Reactive Board, or VRB for short.
It's a balance training device that's optimizing balance training for all. Balance is key to living a long, healthy, mobile life, as we all just learned. Falls are the leading cause of injury-related death for people over the age of 65, and the rate of deaths from falls is increasing, sadly. America's older population is expected to nearly double over the next 3 decades, and that trend's reflected across the globe. This means injuries related to falling are likely to become a lot more prevalent. This means balance training, it's never been more important.
The benefits of balance training cannot be understated, but when it comes to longevity, it's especially important for increasing mind-body awareness, maintaining mobility, and reducing injury. After what you've heard with these two presentations, you probably want to go work on your balance, but it's a little more nuanced than you would think.
The first problem is that for beginners, incremental progression is pretty difficult to achieve. If you've ever used a wooden balance board or a half yoga ball, you know what we mean. There's no beginner setting. You have to be pretty fit even to get started on one of those. The exercises and equipment on the market today have to be modified in order to achieve any sort of progression. The second is that reactive training is crucial for functional balance, but it can be unsafe to train. You can try standing on one leg, and that's a great exercise, but that's not really testing your ability to react to a changing environment. If you imagine stepping off a curb, one needs to be able to catch themselves before they fall. Proprioception is the awareness of the position and movement of the body, and that's really what people need to be training. Lastly, there's little to no standardized metrics that exist today. You can measure if someone can stand on one foot and for how long, but that measure is not precise, not standardized across different places, and the exercise is static rather than reactive. This is where the VRB comes in.
The Variable Reactive Board is a mechanically actuated balance training device. Users stand and perform exercises on the moving platform. The device tilts to a set angle, speed, and pattern that is input by the user or health professional. All of the settings and performance metrics are then captured and displayed via the VRB dashboard. The VRB itself features a dual platform base, high traction padding, a removable handlebar, and has a small footprint. Inspired by the principle of optimal loading, the VRB was built to make reactive training safe and effective. The user can perform a wide variety of exercises at varying difficulty levels. Whether they're looking to strengthen their core or walk comfortably on cobblestones, the VRB serves to make progressive, reactive training accessible to all. The VRB was designed alongside athletic trainers and physical therapists. It has seen multiple iterations, and active user testing has guided the process. We feel that it has the power to change the face of functional balance training and support longevity for all.
So as you can see, the VRB makes incremental progression possible. The device can be set to a user's fitness level, and then they can progress over time. Secondly, the VRB makes reactive balance training safe and effective. It provides users with a controlled, changing environment. Now, when you accidentally step off a curb, your body will be ready to react. Lastly, the VRB tracks a variety of real-time metrics, such as range of motion, speed, and difficulty level, which can be easily communicated. Balance progression can now be quantified.
The VRB development process involved looking at existing research on everything from rehabilitation to vestibular function and mobility and training. We also met with multiple physical therapists and went and visited them in their spaces to see them in action and to see what they use every day. We also did a lot of prototyping. To achieve the variable functionality, we chose to use something similar to a Stewart platform, which you can see in the bottom right there, which is commonly used in racing and flight simulators today. We wanted to ensure that the VRB was not only functional, but economically feasible to manufacture.
One of the most important aspects of our research was the theory of optimal loading. The theory of optimal loading suggests users return to normal function as soon as comfortably possible after injury. This is to prevent further muscle loss from immobility. And in order for loading to be optimal, it must be incremental. This means starting slow and progressing over time. If you were to sprain your ankle, the VRB could shorten your recovery time by allowing you to get to the balance portion of your training sooner.
The other key takeaway for us was the urgent need for metrics in the space. Having more metrics means health professionals making more informed decisions and insurance companies potentially covering the cost of treatment. The VRB dashboard would be filling a void in user evaluation, and on a larger scale serves to standardize the way the healthcare industry talks about balance.
Our target users are older adults, anyone recovering from injury, and really anyone looking to train their balance. Therefore, our target customers are physical therapy offices, athletic training facilities, and fitness and community centers.
Because we'll be selling to the facilities themselves, the cost for a user is embedded in the cost of their appointment or their gym membership, meaning the cost to the user is $0. And this was really important to us because making balance training more accessible fundamentally means making it more affordable. The upfront cost of the VRB we expect to be around $7,500 at scale, and we would sell a subscription to our metrics dashboard on a monthly basis. Similar equipment typically ranges between $5K and $10K, so it's definitely in line with what these facilities are already paying.
We've benchmarked our market size to that of the treadmill market because we see this being like a treadmill or a stationary bike. And we've marketed around $2 billion.
People are living longer, and our focus now is on keeping them active for as long as possible. From preventative training to injury recovery to long life outcomes, the VRB is optimizing health spans for all. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah. Questions?
No.
Yes.
Yeah, it's a fascinating idea, and clearly something that I could see in a fitness center. Can you see scaling the cost still lower so there's like a home model?
Yeah, we talked to our mentor about that actually. I don't know if he's here, but definitely, absolutely. The way that the mechanics we believe are going to work, the Stewart platform, it's used right now in flight simulators that a lot of pilots actually have in their homes, so it can be scaled down to a place that works.
Right. Essentially, this would be a simpler version of that because we don't need to move as complexly as that. This is rotating about a center point. So we do think the cost can be brought down. And there's flight simulators that range from like $7,000 to $10,000. And
yeah, so we're expecting at the lowest cost, it would be around $3,000.
Yes.
Thank you so much. So I'm just curious, within your presentation, you didn't talk about the duration, like how long would you think someone should be using this to have an effect? And we already have plenty of randomized controlled trials that demonstrate some, for instance, Tai Chi exercise helps prevent the fall. So I'm just curious, how is this different or better than just doing Tai Chi, for example?
Yeah.
Totally.
Great question.
I think what we're doing is training your reactivity and your proprioception. So if you can stand and you can have a great core and maintain balance, but it's your ability to react to a changing environment and catch yourself when you're falling. And then that's what we're trying to target. And as far as anyone being able to use this, there's a wide variety of exercises. You can basically perform any exercises that you would on the floor on this thing. So there's like very sport specific exercises that you can perform to just everyday functional mobility exercises.
Yeah, we looked actually at Tai Chi for an example, and not everyone is capable of standing on one foot. So the incremental portion of it, if you were to say, let's say overweight and you can't comfortably do that, you could stand on the VRB and it could move at a very slow speed, at a very slow angle until you can have the strength to do better. Yeah.
Another judge's question.
Because it said 65 and older is the primary design, it looked like the sort of support bar was just a single PVC pipe.
Yeah.
Have you looked at, is it because it's a beta thing, or is it,
Totally
you look for
beta.
something maybe two sides or a little bit stronger?
Right. Ideally, it would be adjustable. This was just a time constraint, and this was prototyping for kind of scale and user, friendliness.
Yeah. But definitely, we have considered also putting a bar to the side if perhaps someone needs to have stability in front of them and to the side as well.
Can you briefly talk about how to operate these machines? Is it a voice control, or how can the users know if he's not doing right or need to adjust his movement?
Yeah, great question. So we have the metrics dashboard, which will likely be an app that can be used on a phone or an iPad. A lot of the physical therapists that we talk to typically are tracking their exercises in something like that already. And how they'll be able to set it is through the app itself. It'll also have a remote if they want to do it manually, but they can set everything from the speed, the angle, they can set a difficulty level, they can set different patterns. So it might be a randomized pattern or maybe a pattern they're more familiar with. It's really to give them that progression over time.
And in the model that we have with 2 platforms, only one of them is sort of the mechanical one. And then the other one is just a safety platform for you to step off at any moment.
That's at the level that you need it.
I wanted to ask a little bit more about the sort of standard of care, so to speak. So you mentioned the Stewart platform. Could you talk a little bit more about how effective that is at training kind of reactive balance, and how much improvement, again, you would expect to see over that?
Sure.
So the Stewart platform itself isn't what's great for balance. It's just the way that the platform will move. The settings are more so what will train the reactivity. So say, for example, I were to stand on it, my physical therapist would set and say, okay, we're going to go through a randomized pattern right now. You need to react to it. So you don't fall down, basically. So that's sort of how the Stewart platform plays.
It's perfect.
Okay, cool. We're done.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.